everyone, this is Elizabeth with Elizabeth G Creations. Today I'm going to be making a fun card using some of the Mama Elephant's mini agenda stamp sets. They are the Santa one, the Elves one, and the Reindeer one. Here I'm just placing them in my MISTI. I use my MISTI a lot, and you're going to see that if you keep watching my videos, because I do make my cards in bulk. I make about 6 to 8 of each card at once because I do sell them. So I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black ink to ink up my stamps. And I didn't prep the ones I hadn't used before, so I'm just prepping them right there. And then up next there's going to be some Copic coloring, and I'll have some music for you to listen to during that. Enjoy! Okay, everyone, we are back again, and we're going to work on the background. One note about the Copics, I am sorry that I did not put the Copic marker colors that I used. I totally forgot to write it down, but I did put the end caps up. Luckily, I thought about doing that. So right now I am working on the background, and I decided to do an ink blended background, and I am using the Tim Holtz Distress Oxide ink in Tumbled Glass and Peacock Feathers. I wanted to do something a little bit different, non-traditional, because we already had red and green on all of our little characters, and we had brown with the neutral colors with the reindeer. So I wanted to do something that would make them pop out a little bit more. So that's why I decided to go with these two colors. So I inked half of the panel in the Tumbled Glass, and then I'm inking the other half of the panel in the Peacock Feathers. Now this paper is the Bristol Smooth cardstock. This is my favorite paper to blend on. I really don't use anything else, and I'm just finishing up getting rid of my fingerprints. So there you can see my blended background. So I did all of my die cutting to save some time off camera. If I would have included everything and I didn't speed up everything in this video, the video would have been over 2 hours long. So this frame is from Mama Elephant also. I am going to try to link to everything. I know I can't remember all the names because I actually did put everything away before I did this voiceover. So I'm using the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. I really like this because it does have a nice fine point to it. So you can get a nice fine line of glue if you need it. Or if you want a little bit more, you can get more glue out of it also. And I'm using Michael's 110-pound Recollections cardstock for the two white pieces. If you want to save some money, I would actually recommend the Michael's 110-pound Recollections cardstock in white. I did used to use it for my Copic coloring. I don't anymore. If you're just beginning, you could definitely use it. But what I do like about it is that it is thicker. You can't print on it unless you have like an amazing printer, but my printer will not print on it. But it is good and it is inexpensive, and I do actually use it for my card bases still because I do like a nice heavy card base, and it is heavier than the Nina 110-pound cardstock. And I didn't want to use expensive paper for layering pieces, so I just used my this Michael's Recollection. So there is my frame up close. So next we're going to work on some more stamping. We're going to stamp the inside of my card with a greeting, and that was the stamp set. Again, I'll link to it. I can't remember the name. I am so sorry. I will make sure that the next video I am more put together, I promise. So I decided to do Bring on the Merry since this was kind of a fun card anyway. So I wanted to have a fun greeting, and I just thought that greeting was really cute. I am using my Simon Says Stamp grid for the Misty to line up my greeting, and I count the squares, and you will see me do this a lot. I count the squares from the outside in to the greeting, and then I line up to make sure that it's nice and straight. And one thing you guys are going to notice on a side note is you're going to see my nail color change. Because I think at the beginning, I think I had no nail polish, and now I do have nail polish. You're going to see that a lot in my videos. If you're interested in knowing what my nail polish color is, just let me know in the comments, and I'll start including that. So I am using the Lawn Fawn Black Licorice ink for stamping the greeting. You can see it came out nice and crisp. So next, we're going to stamp from the Santa Mini Agenda, the little hoe with the exclamation point. And I'm actually going to be stamping that on one of the little squares from the background. And I used my little Lawn Fawn acrylic block to do the stamping. I wasn't going to use my Misty for this. This is one of the few things that I don't use my Misty for, is if it's something really small that I don't care if it's going to be perfect or not. And sorry about just swinging that VersaFine everywhere. I'm using the VersaFine Black Onyx ink to stamp the ho 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 on there because I stamped it 3 times and I was stamping it so that they were all crooked. That's why I didn't want to use my Misty. And there you can see it. So next I'm going to stamp the inside of my card again, and this time I'm going to stamp it with one of the little characters from the mini agenda Reindeer. And I also used the little feet to make it look like he was walking through snow. So I'm using the one that has the string of lights wrapped around him. He's actually my favorite one. I think he is the cutest little reindeer with the little string of lights wrapped around him. It's just so adorable. So I just used the little feet one, the little footprint one, just to help me line up where I wanted the little reindeer guy to go. I feel like I should name him. What do you guys think? Do you think I should name him since I probably am going to keep using him? So I'm using the Lawn Fawn Wanna ink to stamp him because that's pretty close to the same color that I colored him in. And here I'm going to be grabbing an envelope and stamping the envelope. And I stamp it in the same color also. And I almost always decorate my envelopes. So I am using Hippo ink for the little feet to make it look like he's walking through the snow. And then just to show you, I really do make these in bulk. Here are the envelopes. I think there's about 6, 7, or 8 envelopes here. I can't remember how many of these I made. Isn't that bad? So I stamped these out, and you can see it doesn't really take that long to stamp it out. I think I only have this sped up 2 times what I normally would work, if I even have it sped up. No, I do have it sped up. I think I only have it sped up twice, but you can see it doesn't really take that long. So I'm going through my little characters because I did die cut them off camera too to pull out my little festive reindeer guy that's wrapped up in the lights because I wanted to color in the little lights on the inside of the card and on the envelope also. And because it's only a dot, it's not going to bleed through the back of the Michael's Recollections cardstock. And it also won't bleed through the envelope. And I don't know what happened to the envelope footage, but it was the same exact thing as what I did for the inside of the card. So here we're going to start doing the fun part of assembling the card. And I'm going to use the Nuvo Deluxe Adhesive again, liquid adhesive. And I'm just putting that all over the back of my frame and lining my frame up. And you can see I fiddle with it quite a bit. That's why I try to use the liquid adhesive. And then I lay out, or I put in the little ho 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 one. So what you can't see off to the side is that there's like 6 or 7 more of these where I have all of the frames and the little pieces, and I have them all lined up to make sure that I put the little pieces back in the spot that they came out of. Because as soon as I die cut it, I took the pieces out of where they were in the die and put them back in where they were in the die when I put them on my table. So I have a decent sized space off to the side that I can do that. Because I wanted to make sure that everything with the ombre background, or my blended background, that everything would line up, that the blend would be where it needed to be. Because I made so many, some of them have a little bit more of the peacock feathers, some of them have a little bit more of the tumbled glass. So I just kept everything together. That part was a little bit of a pain, but it wasn't that bad. It doesn't bother me. So one thing I am doing is, because I have my fingernail polish, I am using my Teflon bone folder to make sure that I get those little squares in there good. And so that everything is in there nice and flat like I want it to be. So here's the last one. So now we're going to lay out all of my little characters. And at first I was thinking I was going to put that little elf so that he was coming in from the corner. But then I decided not to. I thought he was fun enough just looking like he was dancing or something. So I'm just playing with the placement of where I want everybody to go. I knew that I wanted Santa to go in that spot and the reindeer that looked like he was running or flying to be next to him, so he was like in front of Santa pulling the sleigh, but you know, he kind of isn't because, yeah. So figured out where I wanted everybody to go, and so now we're going to adhere them all with some 3M Scotch foam adhesive. And I just tore off the pieces. You can cut it off, you can tear it off. It's pretty easy to tear off. Even the small piece is pretty easy to tear off. And you don't need a whole lot of, you just need small pieces for these guys since they are smaller. The only one that is not going to have the foam tape is going to be Santa, because we're going to do something fun and special with him. But everybody else is going to have a little bit of foam tape. So I use the foam tape for a couple reasons. One, all my characters wouldn't fit inside the square perfectly because they all overlap. So I didn't want to just glue them straight onto there. And two, by using the foam tape, they actually do pop up a little bit higher, just barely higher, than the actual frame. So it just gives the card just even a little bit more dimension than just having the frame. And what we're going to do with Santa. So I just keep tearing off the pieces and adhering my little characters, and we're almost done. Just got 2 more pieces left. There we go. So now we're going to take care of Santa, and for Santa we're going to use a mini action wobbler. And after I made this card, this first one, I realized I used the action wobbler the upside down. So I actually had the big heavy part, the thick heavy part, on Santa, and I actually should have had it on the card base. So when you guys go do this, make sure that you use, or if you use the action wobblers, make sure that you have the thicker part on the base. And there you can see Santa wobbling around. So next, to do a little bit of finishing accents on the card, I used my black Nuvo drops to do the eyes and the nose on the reindeer. And then for my little guy that I love so much, I am going to do the Nuvo drops in the coordinating colors for the light bulbs. So I picked out a purple, a pink, and a blue. And again, I don't have the name of it in front of me, but I will make sure that I link it in the description below for you guys. And I promise I will be more put together for the next one, for the next video. So we're just going to do the blue ones, and then we're going to let it sit and dry. Because they're so small, you don't need to let it sit for like 24 hours, but I still do. And there you can see Santa wobbling. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe my video, and I will see you guys later. Thanks!